My name is Katie Bacon, and I am a junior international studies major at the University of Arkansas. I'm originally from Fayetteville, but I have lived outside of the country for a couple years in Scotland, Belgium, and Thailand. I always loved the World Peace Prayer Fountain when I was growing up, but these experiences living abroad have made it particularly special to me. Hank Kaminsky's World Peace Prayer Fountain is located in front of the Fayetteville, Arkansas Town Center on the Fayetteville Downtown Square. It is currently undergoing restoration. When the city of Fayetteville was drawing up plans for the town center, Kaminsky proposed creating a piece to be displayed outside the building. The fountain was funded by a donation and was dedicated on New Year's Eve of 2002. Kaminsky studied at the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts, the Art Students League of New York and New York City, and later at the University of Arkansas. He has been sculpting for nearly 60 years. He has taken inspiration from a variety of sources: Rodin, Donatello, the poetry of Miller Williams, and the words of Martin Luther King Jr. Most of Kaminsky's commissioned sculptures are in Arkansas. Kaminsky's World Peace Prayer Fountain has a great sense of repetition and continuity. The fountain is a sphere with 10-foot diameter set over a rectangular pond. Kaminsky and his team first constructed the sphere out of clay over a steel armature, a metal framework on which a sculpture may be molded. A plaster and fiberglass impression was taken from the clay and bronze was poured into the mold to make the final sculpture. As such, color does not play a large role in the sculpture. Instead, shape, balance, and motion are particularly important. The spherical shape of the fountain certainly recalls the shape of Earth. The peace prayers modeled onto the sphere circle the fountain and overlap with one another as they move around from top to base. The basic shape of the fountain and the motion of the prayers create a sense of balance, if not perfect symmetry. The fountain has the prayer, "May peace prevail on earth," molded into the sphere in over 100 different languages. While many of the prayers are in different scripts, the fonts chosen for these scripts are not designed to be uniform. Some are sharp and angular, while others are long, curved, and flowing. The contrasting nature of the fonts alleviate the harshness that can come from such repetition and uniformity, and call to mind something more organic. When it is warm enough for the fountain to be on, water flows gently over the sphere. The water is not the only moving part of the fountain. The sphere may also move, though only if an observer chooses to interact with it and push or pull the sphere. Aside from the scripts, the bronze of the sculpture is not entirely smooth to the touch, reflecting the texture of the clay mold. This again reinforces the organic nature of the fountain, though it is made of bronze. An iconographic analysis of the World Peace Prayer Fountain is illuminating. The most apparent reference is that of the sphere as the earth. This image is further enforced by the rotating motion of the fountain. As previously stated, however, the fountain does not move without interaction from the viewer. This is a representation of the fact that the prayers inscribed on the fountain require action in addition to words. Peace does not come from thought or prayer alone, but action too. Viewing and interacting with the art is a metaphor for the actions Kaminsky wishes to promote. Say the prayers, ask for peace, and put these plans into motion. The water is the most interesting symbol in the sculpture. Water is considered in so many cultures across the globe to be a means of purification. The World Peace Prayer Fountain has water running over from the top of the globe and off down the sides, as if it is constantly cleansing. The way the water moves is a reference to the simple central message of the peace on earth. In addition to cleansing, water is also an absolute necessity to life. In this way, the water symbolizes our common humanity and the connections we share at the most basic level. Kaminsky's World Peace Prayer Fountain does not fit neatly into a specific artistic movement. While the sphere might recall a globe and the piece might be full of possible symbols, it is primarily abstract and open to interpretation, as Kaminsky himself said upon the dedication of the sculpture. Though it is difficult to place a recent piece, it can be said that the fountain is a postmodernist sculpture. There are some obvious influences on the work. First and foremost is the sculpture of Auguste Rodin, which Kaminsky has acknowledged. The second inspiration does not come from a specific artist, but instead a type of religious artifact. This is the Tibetan prayer wheel, something used in Tibetan Buddhism, in which a prayer is inscribed on a rotating cylinder. The rotating motion of the prayer wheel is meant to symbolize the repetition of the prayer, just as with Kaminsky's fountain. This work of art has been one of my favorites for as long as I can remember. When I was younger, I loved getting to interact with the art and enjoy the feeling of the water. It was different than any other experience I had had with art. As I got older, I began to appreciate the fountain more for its message. It's simple, but that simplicity is attractive to me. In general, my favorite pieces of art are those that have meaning close to my heart and those that I can touch and interact with. Art that is meant to appeal to children as well as adults, essentially art with less pretensions, that is art that appeals to me. To me, Hank Kaminsky's World Peace Prayer Fountain fits this perfectly.